All right, it is 10 o'clock, so we will call this special called meeting of the Jackson County Board of Education to order. And this is a short meeting. We have one item to address and one item only. On a meeting like this, it has to be very specific for what we meet for, and it is to address the payroll tax holiday, and Mr. Middleton had talked to us about that at our last regular meeting, and we've come to take action on that. But first we need to approve the agenda just like we always do, so we will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Dr. Guest, second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the agenda say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chris said he is there, so it's unanimous, Jenna. And again, we're fortunate to have the technology to bring Chris in with us, and so that we can carry on. The only item, like I said, was the payroll tax holiday. And before we get into the motion, I will say that at our last meeting, Mr. West requested that we suggested that we survey our employees. And Jeff, you did that. Will you give us that information before we move into the motion?
Well, actually, I did not bring those specific numbers, but it was 88% approximately of people polled were in favor of this. So it's the reason it was such an overwhelming response. But I do have those specific numbers if anybody wants to see those.
Okay.
I can email those to you.
All right. And that was done by school, wasn't it?
Yes, each of the principals reported back, and they did a survey of their students. And then we also did a survey at the central office.
Okay.
And we had it was right at 80% at the central office.
So overall, about 88%. Okay. All right. So we have completed the survey. So we'll move into the motion, and if there's any other discussion or any questions, we'll do that if we get a motion in a second. So item number one is the payroll tax holiday. Consider a motion to approve the presidential executive order to defer 6.2 Social Security taxes for September, October, November, and December 2020 for all qualifying employees. Do we have anyone wants to move on that motion?
I'll make a motion.
Mike makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Guest seconds that. Any discussion? Jeff, it will be pretty easy to administer this and to collect that money in the next quarter.
Yes, 98.8% of our payroll is paid for salaries. That means everyone is paid the same amount every month. So it's been very easy to accomplish for that 98.8% of payroll. It's just the subs, there'll be maybe a slightly different pay in the second quarter as the first quarter of the fiscal year. So, or those 4 months that we're going to be deferring, there could be a slightly different pay, but we really anticipate the pay to be more in the January through April time frame as opposed to the September through December, because we're going to be out most of December. So the pay should be actually more for the substitutes. That means we will owe them a check of maybe $1.25 or $5.75, but we'll probably have to issue checks, a little adjustment at the end of April if we have to pay back. So that's a worst case scenario. Hopefully, it will be great news if we don't have to pay it back, and then it's not going to be a problem. And we'll be really in great shape because we would have already taken
Does anybody have any other questions? Mr. Middleton? I guess you good. Very good. All right, then we'll move to a vote. Mr. West?
Yes.
Mr. West is yes. Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Knight?
Yes.
Dr. Guess?
Yes.
Myself is yes. That motion carries. Mr. Dukes, any announcements that you have?
Not today.
Okay, all right. No announcements. I think we set our October meeting and it's already on the calendar. So nothing else. No other announcements from the board. We're going to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion.
We have a motion. I'll second that. Is there any discussion on the adjournment? All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you for attending.